The next long-term EU budget has to be bigger, despite the loss of cash from Brexit Britain. That from the head of the European Commission at a finance conference in Brussels. Jean-Claude Juncker said joint policies in areas such as defence, security, migration and agriculture will be money hungry. Our British friends will be leaving us on the 30th of March 2019, he says. So between now and then, we need to do our utmost to find the means of reacting to the loss of a significant number of billions of euros when a net contributor goes. The EU's Budget Commissioner Günther Oettinger said the gap from Brexit would be 12 to 13 billion euros per year. Yes, policies can be reviewed and modernised, says Juncker, but there won't be enough cash from the current 1% of EU GDP. The goal, if we want to increase the EU's budget, is not to increase the overall European public expenditure, he says. It is to show that there is, by sharing some sovereignty, and thus by putting in certain financial means, greater efficiency and a better control of public expenditure. The conference in Brussels has kick-started talks over the budget, which will start in 2021. Formal proposals are expected in June, which then need to be agreed. Brexit campaigner and former UKIP leader Nigel Farage arriving in Brussels to meet EU chief negotiator Michel Barnier, coming, he says, to deliver the word of more than 70 million Leave voters.
Whatever the government has done here in the Brexit negotiations, I've not heard a dicky bird about immigration, getting back border controls. I mean, it would appear that at the most optimistic estimate, it'll be at least 6 years from voting to leave that we do anything about the open door we have to the rest of the European Union.
Farage came to Brussels armed with questions he got on social media, but the response was mixed, with some highly critical of him and how much weight he holds in the EU. The European Commission hasn't said much about the meeting, but stressed the door was open. Michel Barnier has, as President Juncker did in the past, he says, always been open to the possibility of having meetings with members of the European Parliament or stakeholders who are interested in the process. As well as immigration, Farage came to Brussels to press Barnier over Britain's future trading relationship, but came away, he says, with little reassurance.
When it comes to the prospects of a future trade deal as part of phase 2 of all of this, whilst he's quite happy to do something on goods, well, he would be, wouldn't he? Europe sells us more than we sell them. When it comes to services and financial services, there is a deep reluctance.
How much Nigel Farage has actually achieved in a half-an-hour meeting here in Brussels remains to be seen. What is certain is that he remains a divisive figure, with Brexit won on such a tight margin in the UK, and with all the twists and turns we've seen in the negotiations to date. And that turbulence is set to continue with the next round of talks on trade due to happen over the coming months. Damon Embling, Euronews, Brussels.